Hi and welcome back again to this, our final vlog on our Princess Regal cruise. A little while ago we asked people for what things they'd like us to know, and one of the things that came out from several people was they would like to know the differences between our cruise on P&O Britannia and Regal, bearing in mind that they're the same class of ship, so things should be quite similar. So we thought we'd just go over a few of the points, hopefully not to labour on them too long, and just so what we noticed from our personal experiences. So we'll begin at the beginning, which is embarkation. Embarkation was, bearing in mind that the pandemic issues that we've got at the moment, was fairly straightforward for both and very, very similar. We had our COVID test, then we went in to check in and then went on the ship. In total, from arrival at the port to getting on board with P&O was about an hour and a half, and with Princess it was about an hour and 10 minutes. And the hold-ups were in different places each time, weren't they? First time we got held up queuing for the COVID test with P&O, whereas with Princess we were held up waiting to park the car. But overall, no real issues. And then we went on to muster.
Well, everybody knows that muster is different these days, and P&O were slightly different in the way they did muster than Princess. With P&O, we got on board and went straight to our muster station, and then you go back to the rooms and watch the drill. Princess did it slightly differently. They encouraged you to go straight to your room first, watch the drill, and then go to your muster station. We did find that they were calling for people to go to muster quite a lot, and I think probably with some people that they got carried away with the excitement of being on board, and they watched the drill in their cabin and didn't go to their muster station quite quickly enough. So then we get to the cabin itself, and there are two cabins both on the P&O ship and on Princess. Because it was the same class ship, the cabins were very similar, and on both occasions we were lucky enough to have a balcony. The big differences came, from my point of view, with the beds themselves. Everybody talks about Princess bed and how good it is, and they're not joking. I've never slept in a bed like it. I think because they have a firm base and then what they call a topper, which is really snuggly. That's the best way of putting it.
I had a job to get her out.
It just makes the bed extremely comfortable, and it as you get in it, it almost sort of wraps itself around you and gives you a hug. Amazing bed, I have to say. And although P&O beds are very comfortable, they're not like that. When it came to the bathroom itself, again, they were very similar, except for the fact that we had a curtain. In the Princess
shower curtain,
and on Britannia we had a door on the shower, which, as everybody remarks, is so much better and so much easier. On Princess they had a little soap dish, which was great because it meant you actually had somewhere to put the soap instead of leaving it wandering about on the side. But on Princess, the toilet roll was in the wrong place. The toilet roll holder was in the wrong place. And if you watch one of our previous vlogs, you will see that you had to be a contortionist to get to it. But those were the main differences.
Yeah, the sockets were obviously different because on Princess, the power sockets, you had European and US, and on Britannia you had UK power sockets, which is always helpful. And
on Britannia you get biscuits, and on Princess you didn't.
Yes. I mean, the Princess ship, they kowtowed to the UK public and put a kettle and tea and coffee facilities in the room, but they forgot the biscuits. I mean, everyone knows about the biscuits.
It's the only reason we go cruising.
Yeah, is the biscuits. One other thing, guys. If you are enjoying the output from our channel, please like and subscribe. It costs you nothing.
And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you get notified whenever we put up a new video.
The next very important things on cruising, which is the food. And to be fair, food on both ships was pretty good, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think that P&O on this cruise had improved from some of the earlier ones we've had, particularly the previous cruise we've had on Britannia. But we'll start off in the morning with breakfast. Anne had room service most mornings for her pre-breakfast, because she used to get that about 6:30 in the morning before we went down to the main dining room every day, because that's our preferred choice, is go to main dining room. The breakfast choices, I think, were slightly better on P&O, probably because they were more British. They did have a special on every day in the dining room on Princess, which was the full English breakfast, which was almost full. There were issues sometimes at breakfast with the speed of service and also with the heat of the food. I did have to send food back one day, which I never had any issues at all on P&O. However, thumbs up to Princess for their toast. P&O's toast is usually like cardboard, and Princess toast was actually very edible, wasn't it? Yeah, you could actually enjoy the toast. It was really good. And one thing that Lindsay and Anne missed on Princess was a smoothie. They do like to have a smoothie for breakfast, one of their 5 a day, and they just couldn't get one.
Yes, it was a bit of a shame. However, we didn't have to suffer the fish smell in the restaurant on Princess.
Because they didn't have it.
Because they didn't do it. So that was a bonus. So then if you go on through the day, we sometimes have a snack at lunchtime. We're not ones to have a full lunch. And we don't tend to go to the buffet either. So our preferred choice is to go and get a burger or a hot dog. I suppose I'm the hot dog specialist.
You're the hot dog specialist, yeah.
And both were very good. The ones on Princess had different flavours on them. Sometimes they're smoked, sometimes they were chillied. And that was very good, actually. It was nice to have something that was a little bit different.
No onions.
No, the quality of the sausages were very good, but I couldn't get any onions on the Princess ship. Everything else was there. And our burger specialist, Anne, she says that from her point of view, the burgers on P&O were far superior and memorable, as she put it. We ate in the main dining room most evenings. But one night on Princess that we did as a specialist one, we went to Sabatini's, which is an Italian specialist restaurant. From the moment we walked through the door, we were welcomed, we were entertained. The service was incredibly good. The food just kept coming and coming. And if you see our food vlog, you will see that we failed. We failed. And continued.
And did proud.
Yeah, she fought her way through to the sweets. But it was superb. Yeah. And if you compare that to its like on P&O, which for us would be the Epicurean, it very much on a similar par, except for Sabatini's was cheaper as a cover charge.
Yeah, I mean, Sabatini's price is $25 a head, and I think on Britannia we paid £28 for the Epicurean. So, there's probably about £10 difference between the two. They're both good, and we will both be doing them again. Yeah. Well, late night eateries on on Princess, you only had the International Cafe. And late at night, let's say their choice of food was quite limited. They had a beautiful selection of pastries and cakes. And they had a number of sandwiches, which they would toast for you. But that was sort of about it. And hot chocolate and coffee. On P&O, their late night buffet, you had hot choice, you had cold choice. Not always to have a taste, but you could have a proper hot meal there if you wanted to. They had Chinese stuff one night and Indian stuff another night. You could also get Horlicks on Britannia, which you couldn't get at the International Cafe, which is sort of our late night treat, isn't it?
From food, we could go on to the drink, which is something else that we enjoy. Normally on P&O, we wouldn't consider having a drinks package. That's largely because we look at the prices and see whether it's a good deal or not. And for us, on the P&O package, it's not worthwhile. We would really struggle to drink that much every day. and especially under normal circumstances when you're visiting ports, that would become even more difficult.
Well, it's £40 a day on P&O, and the price of the drinks is okay. They're sort of expensive pub prices, aren't they?
Yeah.
London pub prices are a bit more expensive than we pay here down in the rural areas, but city pub prices, I would say. Whereas on Princess, they were a lot more expensive.
Yeah, they were. So to have the Princess Plus package was much better value for money. It included the tips and service charge. So we were paying £30 a day.
£30 a day, which included all tips. We got free Wi-Fi, but we got that as part of our loyalty anyway. And you also got up to 15 alcoholic drinks a day, plus all your teas and coffees you wanted as well, which we did. You had quite a few coffees during the day, didn't we?
So it was extremely good value for money, and well worth doing.
We now move on to another subject, which is entertainment. Lindsay?
We do like going to see the production shows in the theatres and in the other cocktail bars. So on P&O and Princess, we were keen to go to all of them. I have to say, with the production shows, we felt that those done by P&O were much superior to the ones done on Princess. The first show that we saw on Princess, I know that we sat fairly close to the front, and Anne, who was with us, she's into singing and performing as well. We thought the costumes were pretty horrendous.
Well, the ship was launched in 2014, and I think the costumes were probably that old as well.
Oh, I think they were probably older. Some of them were falling apart on the girls. Yeah. It was poor, considering that they've had plenty of time to sort things out over the period. And it was poor.
They didn't seem to have a full company either, did they?
No.
They seemed to have a full company of singers, but they were short on dancing performers.
And it seemed, it felt a bit unrehearsed. It felt as though they were using old shows and hadn't perhaps rehearsed them as fully as the P&O ones done. It was fine to watch, but there was just a difference in the quality.
The singers were good.
The singers, the performers were all very good.
Yeah.
But it's difficult to put a finger on it. But it just didn't click quite the same way as they did with P&O.
Bravo was better.
Yes, it was.
But it still wasn't.
The one thing I will say though is that they use a live orchestra a lot more on Princess with the theatre company, and that is very, very nice to hear. They were using click tracks as well, but it was nice to have the full orchestra there as well. All of them were fantastic musicians in their own right, and so we did enjoy seeing those. There were also each of them had cabaret artists, which include comedians. Again, some better than others, but that's the way it is. And likewise, singers. P&O had an Elton John tribute.
Who was excellent.
He was really good. And Princess had, and I forgot his name.
Andy, the singing dustman off the X Factor. And I really liked him.
Lovely voice. I personally didn't like his personality on stage.
No. And both comedians on both ships were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, they were.
They were really, really good. Yeah, excellent. We now come to other entertainment on board. There was live music on both ships. I thought that possibly the standard of live music on Princess was slightly better than that on P&O. The band Meridian were excellent. They had a duet of ladies who were playing piano and violin in the piazza, and they were just wonderful to listen to. The guy up in Crooner's Bar on the piano, the singer, he was brilliant. They were all very good. P&O, not quite as good. They were okay, but not quite to the same level. As I said at the beginning of the vlog, both ships are the same class, so they're similar in design. However, one does cater for the American market and one is for the British. And one thing that we did notice, one day the weather wasn't as good on Princess, was it? which is not their fault, obviously. And we really did struggle to find a bar to sit in to have a drink. It was hard work. They have a massive casino on board that takes up a huge area of the ship, doesn't it? On P&O, you've got a very large pub called Brody's, and you've got the Crow's Nest. The Crow's Nest on Princess is replaced by cabins. So you've got a huge area for people to sit and enjoy and have a drink that are just missing. And we personally found it a problem. Crooners was a lovely bar, but it was quite small. You come out of the show and you just couldn't get a seat there. And you were, bearing in mind there were only 1,400 people on board and the capacity of the ship is 3,600. We struggled on bad weather days to find a seat in a bar.
I think it would be similar any evening as well, because you'd be in the same situation. You'd be coming out from some of your live entertainment and not necessarily moving on to anything else, but wanted to sit and have a drink. And that's where we also find it very difficult.
So I guess there's just one thing to say. The verdict. P&O Britannia, Regal Princess. What do you think, Lindsay?
The jury's out in some respects, because there are so many similarities and the differences counteract one another. I think, from my point of view, slightly edged by Britannia, largely because if I was on Regal Princess in the winter in this country when there was not that many good weather sea days, I think I would struggle to find somewhere to sit.
Well, I think it was extremely close. I thoroughly enjoyed both cruises and I will travel on both again. Interesting to hear that you're pro Britannia, because Britannia is not one of your favourite P&O ships at all. She's not at all one of your favourite ships. But I think I would just go with P&O as well. Just not a lot in it. But that could be maybe because we're more used to P&O. We've done more cruises with P&O than Princess. It could be that it's just a little bit more British and we're British. Not sure. But anyway, that's our verdict. You asked us to do a comparison and we've done it. We've hopefully we've answered some of your questions. Thank you very much indeed for watching us, and see you soon when we tell you all about Iona. Yes.